So morphology of angiosperms. This is our concept. We need to teach this concept or teach this particular chapter in a very effective way, so the children will not find anything difficult. So the best way is to use aids. I just want to know from your end, what are the aids that you will normally use for morphology of angiosperms?
Specimen, real specimen we can take, ma'am.
Real specimen. That's exactly.
Leaves and all for that phyllotaxy, leaves I will take, ma'am.
Good, ma'am. Good, ma'am. The real specimens. That's why
Yes,
I've written fresh or preserved specimens. So suppose
Yes,
we don't get a fresh specimen, we can use preserved specimens of dicot and monocot plants, leaves, different types of leaves, different types of flowers, fruits, and seeds. And when you teach seeds, we can also tell them to soak the seeds and bring to the class the next day. We can dissect the seed and show them the embryo. Because they learn about the dicot embryo, we can dissect the seed and show them the embryo also. This which we are going to discuss. So as we have been using, please let us try to use a number of specimens. I would rather say when we teach morphology, our classroom should look like a typical market, a vegetable market. So the class will go for some 4 or 5 days. First day we can have some dicot and monocot plants. Second day we can have some modifications of stem, root, and leaf. Third day we can have flowers, varieties. You don't mention the type of the plant. You just tell them bring flowers, children. So you will find children getting different flowers. If you specify, they'll only get hibiscus. So if you say simply flowers, you will have a wide variety of flowers in the class. Let's go to the class with a needle, a magnifying glass, and a compound microscope, a dissection microscope. We can show them the cross section of even the ovary. So let us tell the children to do some groundwork to just get a variety of specimens from their neighborhood. So in this way, we can inculcate the interest of botany in children. So these are the aids. Okay, motivation. As you know, children, end of the day, children are again going to come back to saying, ma'am, these chapters are very difficult, ma'am. So we need to really motivate them by introducing terms like, what is the meaning of morphology? Logos is a Latin term which means to study. Morpho, external features. So study of external features with or without using microscope. There are very minute organisms where using microscope will be good for studying the external features. So study of external features of an organism with or without using a device is called morphology. Anatomy, study of internal features is called anatomy. So though we are going to do only morphology, nothing wrong in introducing terms like anatomy, physiology, cytology, phycology, mycology. The phycology and mycology terms may not be there in the reader, because plant kingdom chapter is there. Phycology, study of algae. Mycology,
mycology is fungi.
Mycology fungi and phycology algae. Cytology, study of cellular components. Physiology, study of function. So let us tell the children, logos means to study. So in this chapter, flowering plants, we are going to understand the morphology of why angiosperms. Angiosperms are nothing but flowering plants. The title says it is flowering plants, but the flowering plants are classified under angiosperms. So let us call the 5 kingdom classification of Whitaker. Okay. Teaching methodologies. I've written certain methodologies. You are also going to come out with your methodology. I believe a lot in flipped classroom teachers. Shall we do flipped classroom for this chapter? What is this methodology? Flipped classroom. You flip a classroom. That means generally we teach something and give them a homework. We do teach something in the class and give them homework, but here you give a homework and then teach. First, let the children collect all the specimens. First, let the children observe all the types of the leaves. Let them observe the types of the sepals, types of the petals, and come to the class. So it is completely swapping the homework and the schoolwork. So you give the homework first and then teach. This way, morphology chapter can be taught well by the classroom. Projects, you can divide the class in, for example, if the class has some 35 children or some 40 children, divide them into some 8 groups. So you number the groups, or you can also have an innovative method of naming the group. You tell the children, you coin a nice name to your group. They will be coming out with wonderful names. So 8 teams are now ready, or whatever number, 5 teams are ready. You assign each team, one team you assign only the vegetative features, like you collect some monocot plants. collect some dicot plants. Another team you give, collect all the food storing leaves and food storing stems, food storing roots. Like this, you give a project work to teams. They will bring the fresh specimens that we can relate them to the concept. So this way we can do group discussion, divide again the same 8 teams can sit in the form of groups and they can discuss whatever they brought. See, they will exchange their ideas and they will do group discussion. And when we do, we can do interactive lecture. There are certain concepts that we do by lecture method. So these are the methods. Any other method, if you feel optimum, you can always say, teachers, any other method which we have been using. If you are using any different method, you can please come out. As I told you, it's only a knowledge sharing forum.
Ma'am, actually what I do is whenever I take morphology class, I just take them to the garden in the school and then I just show them. Rather than bringing all those things, when they bring the specimen, they crush it, and they spoil it, and they say it is heavy to carry. So what I usually do is I just take them to the garden that is available in our school campus, and then I show them.
Actually, good madam, that scope is there when you have a garden inside the school.
Yeah.
But schools in city like DAV school, it is in Chennai city, they have hardly a garden with few plants and bringing children down. There may be BT class going on. So that's actually correct. When you have a huge space, space in school, you can definitely do that, madam. That's good. Any other methodology, sir? Any other methodology? I think your place, Parthiban sir place is very good in diversity. So,
yeah. We used to go to nearby garden only, ma'am.
Yeah, garden you can take the field. Very good. So you can take the field trip also. So we can include field visits. Yeah. So if that is the case, we can also include field visit as one of our teaching methodology. I think, shall I proceed, teachers? May I proceed, teachers?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, expected learning outcome. What do I mean by outcome, or what do we mean by outcome? See, for any input, there must be an output. No? Suppose I teach something, I expect something from the children. So at the end of teaching morphology of angiosperms, what do I expect the children to have learned? At the end of the teaching process, the children should be able to do the following activities. That attribute is called the learning outcome. Learning outcome can be defined as the outcome of the child or the output of the child after listening to the entire teaching learning process over. What the child will be able to do is called the learning outcome. So at the end of the morphology chapter, we definitely have to expect the child to know the term morphology, identify the parts of a typical plant, differentiate between fibrous and taproot systems, explain the regions of the root tip, that means the root cap region of cell division, region of maturation, and they should correlate the region of maturation with the root hairs. It is from the region of maturation that the root hair, there is one diagram in the reader. Draw a label diagram of the regions of the root. Children should be able to identify draw a diagram and understand that the root hairs arise from the region of maturation. They should also be able to say the root hairs help in increasing the surface area for absorption. So for maximum absorption of water, root hairs are very important. Root hairs are unicellular. So we can also bring in a kind of anatomical feature like root hairs are epidermal projections which increase the surface area for absorption. Define the term modification. We are teaching the modification. What is called a modification? Why should a plant undergo some modification? For performing certain special functions. We are going to continue. For performing other than the normal functions, if a root has to perform a special function, it has to structurally change itself. That is called a modification, and modification is a very good adaptation. So adaptation can be defined as any morphological or physiological or behavioral attribute that helps an organism to increase the reproductive fitness in the given habitat. Then the child should be able to say, modification, and the child should be able to draw flow charts. We are going to draw a number of flow charts in the chapter. Child should be able to draw flow chart and explain the normal and special functions of root, stem, and leaves. Define the terms phyllotaxy. What is the meaning of phyllo? Again, see, whenever we teach botany and zoology, most of the terms are in Latin. So you should tell the children, phylum is a Latin term which means leaf. Taxis is a Latin term which means arrangement of the leaves on the stem. So why it is required? So that every leaf gets maximum sunlight. Why maximum sunlight? Maximum photosynthesis. Why maximum photosynthesis? Maximum survival chances. So every Latinized term has to be explained with the English meaning. And we should also tell them, once upon a time, Latin was the international language. All the literature, everything was written in Latin. But when English became the international language, most of the translation happened, but some botanical and zoological terms are kept in Latin itself. So we need to tell the children that when they learn biology, they learn so many Latin terms. Then, to define the flower, we are going to define the flower in the course of the today's program, teachers, and classify it based on different parameters. There are different parameters to classify the flower. That's why I told you the children get varieties of flowers. Almost all the parameters can be studied in the class. Then the children should be able to define the term estivation. What is estivation? What are the various types of estivation? How to diagrammatically represent estivation? What is placentation? And schematically represent the different types of estivation and placentation. Draw label diagrams of monocot and dicot seeds. We can also show them soaked. We can tell them to bring the soaked seeds to the classroom. Using it, we can take magnifying glass. We can take dissection microscope to the class. We can take needles to the class, dissect the seed pod and show them the embryo. And we can describe the families Fabaceae, Solanaceae and Liliaceae using semi-technical terms. So these are our learning outcomes. Let us have a look at the learning outcomes, teachers. Should I maximize? Should I increase the size? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible, ma'am.
Learning outcome is the attribute of the child at the end of the teaching learning process. What the child will be able to do is the learning outcome. So the child should be able to do all these things at the end of learning morphology of angiosperms. Let it be there. These are the various flowcharts which you are going to use. The very first class itself, we can show the plant. A dicot plant. I think the plant is clear, teachers. It's a normal spinach. No, not a great aid. We can tell the children to get a dicot plant. So we can show them the taproot system. What is called a taproot system? What is the meaning of tap? How the tap is broader at the top and keep on narrowing. The primary root is long living. It is directly originating from the radicle. The radicle continues to grow. The primary root continues to grow, forming secondary roots. I think the secondary roots, you can zoom your cameras and see the secondary roots and the tertiary roots. A dicot plant is here. So you can show them the portion of the plant below the soil is the root system. Look at the color of the root system. Look at the color of the shoot system. The children can understand node. Node is a place where the leaf arises. Children can see the bud here, axillary bud. The bud which is there is called the axillary bud. Meristems are there. Meristems are there in the, you can locate the meristems, root apical meristem, shoot apical meristem. You can show them the leaves. So with a simple dicot plant, children can see the types of root system. One is a taproot system. So taproot system is characteristic of dicots and fibrous root system is characteristic of monocots. Look at the fibrous root system, teachers. A simple grass plant is uprooted. Children will beautifully get it. So here you can teach them the concept. The primary root is short-lived. The primary root does not grow continuously. A bunch of roots of the same size and shape appear from the root stem base. So the same grass can also be taken as an example for vegetative propagation. Runner term is not there in the book. So we can use this particular grass plant to show them the fibrous root system. So when you show fibrous root and the taproot, children will be able to definitely differentiate monocot and dicot. Same time, children will always ask you, why ma'am, only by uprooting should we differentiate? No need. See, children are very confused with monocot and dicot, and there is no need to tell them or give them all complicated examples. You just tell them majority of the plants are dicots. Whatever plant you see around you are dicots, even without uprooting, because it's a grass, I easily uprooted. Because there is a spinach at home, I already got it. So looking at the leaves, parallel venation, and looking at the leaves, reticulate venation, they can identify a dicot from the monocot. From this place we are starting. So always teachers, let us start from unknown to known. Let us not think children have already studied in 8th standard. That should not be our objective. So to take them from unknown to known. So nothing wrong in showing a taproot and fibrous root parallelly, both on the same day. So seeing the same grass, if the child sees in the lawn or the child sees in the neighborhood, the same spinach, amma keera pandracha spinach paathirukom, and the perspective is different in teachers. The same spinach and same grass, when observed in class, have got great impact on the children. So children will at once know the difference between taproot and the fibrous root. So please let us show them. So the same plant can be shown as an example of runner also, where the vegetative propagation takes place by runner. So you can find number of roots. See, one mother plant has number of daughter plants. One mother plant has number of daughter plants. By runner. Runner is a method of vegetative propagation. This also we can show them. Okay. As I told you, children should be able to draw flowcharts. So because in the board examination, the way the child interprets the question is very important. Sometimes in the board exam, I think all of us are training our children for board exam. I would rather say training should start in class 9. Training for the children in board exam should not start in class 12 or should not start in class 10 and be stopped in class at the end of class 10. Actually, the training of appearing for board examination, when we make even a unit test paper, that should be based on the board exam pattern. So in case in the board examination, there is a question, illustrate using the flow chart. The child should only use a flow chart. The child cannot give an answer in the paragraph. If the child gives a paragraph answer, there is penalization. Children will be penalized at least by half a mark. Half a mark will be because the examiner wants the child to do a flow chart, but the child is doing the paragraph answer. So let us train the children the words like illustrate, flow chart, schematic representation, diagrammatic representation, etc., etc. So for the functions of root, let us have a flow chart. So what are the functions? Normal functions, special functions. The root doing special function is getting modified. So what is a modification? For doing some special functions, the structure of the root is modified. The structure of the stem is modified. The structure of the leaf is modified. That is called modification. You can always say them. And the normal functions of the root are anchorage or fixation and absorption. The root helps the plant to get fixed and the root helps in absorption. Any root will do this. Any root will do, but apart from that, there are some plants, very few examples are there in the reader. There are some specialized functions like prop roots. Prop again is a Latin term which means pillar. So the prop roots are like pillar roots in the banyan tree. In the banyan tree can be given as can be shown as an example. And suppose we have got smart board in the class, we can show them the Google image of banyan tree. How from the single taproot system is not sufficient to bear the huge weight of the plant. From the base of the branches, roots arise and they grow like pillar. So like how a pillar supports a huge building, these prop roots are additionally giving support. So prop means pillar. You can always say them, show them the banyan tree example. Respiratory roots, pneumatophore, rhizophora, which are growing in very marsh places where there is so much of salinity. So some of the roots come away from the gravity. They grow towards sunlight. They bear minute pores called pneumo refers to air teachers. That's why pneumonia. You relate like this.
Yes.
Pneumonia, lung disorder, pneumato, something connected, something to do with the air. So if you teach like this, children will be able to relate and learn. Pneumonia, lung disorder. Pneumato, something to do with air exchange, something to do with gaseous exchange. So these are the ways in which the child, if you teach in this way, child will be able to grasp it very quickly. And food storage roots, as we know, we have different examples.
Yes, ma'am.
Conical root, carrot can be shown.
Daucus carota.
Daucus carota. Thank you, ma'am. So thank you so much. Then fusiform.
Fusiform. Raphanus sativus.
Yeah, radish.
Yes.
Radish can be shown. Then napiform.
Beta vulgaris.
Beta vulgaris can be shown. These are all simple models. So children will know these roots. They're all roots. In this way, they will differentiate. So long they will be thinking carrot is a fruit. Why carrot is not having a seed? Or they will think carrot is an underground stem. You can eliminate the misconceptions. Proving, saying that these are all different modifications of root where they do, apart from anchorage and absorption, they also do food storage. Though the terms conical, fusiform, napiform are not there, we may give them some extended learning. Always it is better to teach them something more more than what is there in the book, so that children are well trained for competitive examinations. Even if the child does not go for NEET class, the child will be able to crack biology in the NEET, even if the child is unable to go for the coaching classes. So let us introduce the terms conical, fusiform, napiform. Okay, the next concept. Functions of, then the child will know about the stem. As you know, in the previous model itself, we showed them the aerial part of the plant, which is called the stem, which is above the ground level shoot system, which does normal functions. The normal functions of any stem is conduction and support, whereas conduction, it conducts the minerals and water absorbed by the root to various parts of the plant. It supports. Supports what? It supports the organs, like leaves are all vital organs are found on the stem. Leaves are there, flowers are there, fruits are there, seeds are there. So all vital organs of the plant are there. In this context, teachers, we can always say that is why plants physiology is very simpler than animal physiology. If you see an animal, if you see human being, for example, all the vital organs are inside. Heart, kidney, lungs, reproductive organs, they're all inside. Whereas for plants, the vital organs are outside. So there is no complicated organ systems. We can always correlate morphology with physiology. Then special roots, I think in all your places you can get climber roots, tendrils you will get. Defense, you can see the root like cactus. Acacia which bears thorns, minute spines. Somehow today I couldn't get the plant. Then photosynthesis, stems are again from the laboratory. We can carry the Namaste Malika. Namaste. We can carry cactus plant, Opensia we can carry. If we carry Opensia, we will be able to show them the photosynthesizing stem as well as leaves modified into thorns. Because why the leaf is modified? Because to reduce the transpiration. Why transpiration to be reduced? Because it is already a 0.5.
0.5.
Yeah, transpiratory rate has to be brought down. And food storage, like how the roots are becoming modified. We just saw how the carrot becomes the modified root. There are some underground stems which become food storing structures. Example, you can always show. 1 second. Ginger can be shown.
Yes.
Or is so
Yes.
the four types of food storage roots are the rhizome. We can show rhizome. And when we show rhizome, we can always show this minute roots. These minute roots which are called the adventitious. I think you can see it. Zoom your cameras and see. These are the adventitious roots. So children will know what is a fibrous root. Fibrous root is the root found in the monocots. And what is an adventitious root? Root found in any other part of the plant. Whereas root arising from the radicle is called the fibrous root.
Fibrous roots.
Here, because it arises from the stem, we can also show them the sugar cane. In sugar cane, we get some small root-like adventitious roots. So we can show them potatoes, we can show them onions, we can show them corn or China Kirangi. Even in China Kirangi, you can find this small root-like structures which are adventitious. So children will be very clear about what is a fibrous root and what is an adventitious root. A fibrous root is a root which comes from the radicle. An adventitious root is a root which comes from any other part
Part of the plant.
We can also, when you show this ginger, you can show them modification of leaf also, teachers. These are the leaves. Children will ask, why ma'am leaves are green in color? Generally leaves are green, but here the leaves are brown. They are called scale leaves. They are not meant for photosynthesis. They are meant for protection. It's an underground stem. Horizontally growing underground stem is called rhizome. So these are leaves, and you can show them the nodes and internodes. In the class, we can show them let us carry a magnifying glass, the hand lens, and let us pass the magnifying glass to children. Let them use the hand lens and see all these adventitious roots. They can see the scale leaves. They can see the what is the nodes and internodes. So when you teach these organs like rhizome or bulb, and the best way to make them understand potato is system, you can make the children take a small portion of the potato where there is a depression, which is called the eye of the potato. Eye of the, in that particular small portion, if they plant it in the potted plant in a moist soil, within small, maybe 10 days or 15 days, they can see a new plant growing. Even from this, a new plant will be growing if the children are able to take a portion with meristem. So it shows them like a regular, see, a regular stem grows above the soil. I want to just let me take the plant. A normal stem is like this, growing linear, whereas an underground stem is growing horizontal. Like how the normal stem bears leaves, the underground stem also bears leaves. So like how the normal stem will have node here and the meristem here, this will also have a meristem. Meristem is a place where growing tissues are there. So that portion of the underground stem, if it is planted in the moist soil, it will grow into a new plant. So in this way, we can teach them. They not only help in storing food, but also help in vegetative propagation. So they are able to live for a number of years. Perennial. They are the organs of perennation. Well, you also in this way you can say Ganges is a perennial river, which has water throughout the year. So there are certain plants which are throughout the year present, because though the aerial portion would have dried up, the underground portion will be alive. And we can always tell them potatoes and onions we never store in the refrigerator. They have enough moisture. We leave them outside. So please bring them to the real life situations. Why onion is not stored inside the refrigerator? Because it has got enough moisture to stay outside, and it is surrounded by dry leaves. The dry leaves will protect it from fungal infection. So this way we can bring the child, we can we can develop positive attitude towards botany for a class 11 child. Yes, children, yes, teachers. So these underground stems not only help in food store, and we can always say why, when there is so much provision for storing food in the aerially, why certain plants prefer to store food underground. Again, we can always give some reasons. They are away from the reach of herbivores. No, we cannot take them. So they are buried in the soil. They are not available for predation. Herbivores are unable to see this. So plants can store excess of food. The size of the yam, Chanakya, is so big. So much of food can be stored underground. All these can be taught to make the lesson very interesting. Then leaves. Coming to the leaf, I'm not actually giving the concept of the teacher. As we know, we are all teaching professionals. I'm only giving the methodology of how to make the chapter more easily reaching the child.
Interesting.
To the leaf. Leaves are classified into
Simple leaf and compound leaf.
Yeah, we can show them a simple leaf, teachers. A simple leaf, lamina, petiole, reticulate venation, and we can also show them the grass, parallel venation, monocot and dicot. Differentiation can be done in the class by showing the parallel venation in the monocot plant, reticulate venation in the dicot plant. So simple leaf and compound leaf. And compound leaf, we can some example. This one, no, neem leaf, you can say curry. It's only curry leaf. Because I'm at home, I could only fetch a few articles to a few items today. Curry leaves can be shown. Compound leaf. In this case, when we show a curry leaf, we can say this is a rachis. It is a rachis where number of leaves are found.
Leaflet, sir.
Leaflet, and it's called a leaflet. Okay. And pinnately, this is an example of a pinnately compound leaf. Pinnately compound has a cone-like appearance. Broader leaves are at the bottom. Younger leaves are younger leaves
at the top.
So it finally gives a conical appearance. All that we can relate. Then palmately compound, we can show the papaya leaf. I couldn't get it today. Phyllotaxy, arrangement of leaves on the stem. Again, the same, because here I got one portion of the stem where the leaves are arranged opposite. Can you see the opposite arrangement, teachers? Yes, opposite arrangement is there. Alternate arrangement. See, simple diagrams. Children need not be given complicated. So look at the alternate. Alternate, one node bears only one leaf. Opposite, one node bears two leaves. World, one node bears a cluster of leaves, more than 5 leaves. Then opposite decussate is not there in the book. Ternate is not there. Nothing wrong in teaching them. Ternate example is arali. What I have in my hand is there are 3 leaves in a node. And this is a very normal, very common plant, ternate arrangement. So we can do some extended teaching. Ternate arrangement can be shown, and ericum, who know that ericum chedi. Players we will take
Yes,
note.
opposite decussate, yes.
Opposite where you will see one pair of leaves in this direction,
Right angle.
another, right at right angles to each other. So when you show them, the children will find it very easy. They will never forget. Simply teaching them in the same textual language and the author's language. If you show them the real specimens, they will never forget. Alternate arrangement, opposite arrangement, world arrangement, opposite decussate arrangement, and ternate arrangement. Then functions of leaf. Normal function is photosynthesis. Because the leaves are green in color, they possess chlorophyll, they produce food for the plant, and special functions are called modification. So any organ, whether it is a leaf or a stem or a root, when it does some function other than the normal functions, it is called modification. And mostly modifications are adaptations. Adaptations will help the plant to survive even in a very unfriendly habitat, even in a very hostile habitat. So we can show them climbing stems, climbing leaves which help in climbing. The tip of the leaf will be getting modified into a tendril. Let us tell the children to get some specimens. Children, please find out some spring-like structures in the garden. Get those plants. Then let them bring it to the class. Then we will tell them whether which portion of the plant is modified into a spring-like structure. Whether it is the axillary bud, or it is the terminal bud, or it is the leaf tip, we can identify. Then defense, as you know, acacia, mul chedi. Acacia is very common, no teachers? It's very common. We can find the acacia where the leaves are modified into spines. Cactus is an example. Food storage, onion. The inner fleshy leaves of onion are food storage. Outer leaves are scale leaves. So you can tell them onion has two types of leaves. 1 second, I think I'll get onion bulb now. So there are two types of leaves. The outer leaves are dry and scaly, which are meant for protection. The inner leaves are fleshy and they are meant for food storage. Similarly, you can show rhizome, ginger also, showing them the scale leaves. Then flower, the reproductive organ. My humble request, while teaching flower, let the child have a flower, teachers. Any flower. Please tell the children to bring varieties of flowers. Let the child get any flower, the child which is available in the neighborhood. So in that way, you will get a number of flowers. So let the children understand flower is the reproductive organ. Flower is the sex organ of angiosperms. The important reproductive organs are located in the flower. So let them get a flower in hand. We will take needles to the class from the laboratory. We will always carry magnifying glasses to the class. Hand lens to the class. Let us dissect the flower and show them the stamen, show them the style, show them the ovary by taking a razor. Take a dissection microscope, show them the cross section of the ovary. Please, only when we do, morphology will be easy for children. Unless they see, they will not be able to understand, because it is very much possible to show almost all the characteristic features using real life specimens. So we can define flower as a condensed, modified shoot. Condensed means why it is condensed? It does not grow in a normal linear way. It grows in a concentric circle. So it is nothing but a stem. Child will not understand, but show them both. It's a normal stem, it's a condensed stem. Here you find the organs growing, leaves growing linearly. Here you find the leaves growing in a circle. They are all leaves. The calyx is a whirl of sepals. Sepals are leaves. Petals are leaf-like structures. Stamens are leaf-like structures. Carpels are leaf-like structures. They are called floral units. So on a normal stem, the leaves are arranged linearly. Whereas in a flower, the leaves are arranged, the floral leaves are arranged in a concentric manner. So show them the condensed growth. So this is a condensed shoot, whereas this is a normal shoot. So you know, flower is nothing but a shoot. Morphological botanical definition of the flower is a modified condensed. Yes, sir. Shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, as I told you, see in the learning, 1 second, teachers, 1 second. Here, one of the learning outcomes to define flower and classify it based on different parameters. So we are going to understand what are the various parameters to classify the flowers. 1 second. These are the
Ma'am,
parameters.
excuse me, just one clarification.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Jancy, ma'am.
Ma'am, actually, when I took the children to a garden, I saw that Kozhikode coleus. And actually, I wanted to know what that colored structure is. It actually a flower or it is a bract?
Kozhikode flower, no, ma'am. Ma'am,
That,
that can be a modified, that can be eczema. Whenever, because the flower becomes too tiny there, no, Jancy, madam. Whenever the flower becomes, actual flower becomes very tiny, the other parts, sepals and petals may grow to attract the insects.
Ma'am, actually, what is that that colorful structure?
I will get back to you, ma'am. In day after tomorrow session, I'll get back to you.
That one more thing, that Vadamalli, no, ma'am. What is it? That is also I'm finding in the garden.
Yes,
and-
ma'am. Yes, Vadamalli and Bougainvillea, ma'am. Bougainvillea also, ma'am. In Bougainvillea, they are the bracts. The colored portion is the bract.
Yeah.
So, the structure may be a bract, madam, because sometimes the flower becomes very inconspicuous, very small, and in that case, to attract the pollinating agents, some other parts of the flower become modified. So you tell them it's a modification of the flower just to attract the pollinating agents.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
So what are the parameters? First parameter is sexuality. Here you introduce the terms unisexual flowers, bisexual flowers, or the terms, better terms are monoecious and dioecious. Because in class 12, the child is going to get introduced to monoecious, dioecious. In class 11 itself, we can start. So when the child comes to class 12, it becomes very easy for the children. So monoecious, where both the sex organs are there. Example, our hibiscus is an example. Most of the flowers are monoecious. Few flowers are dioecious, means unisexuality. So based on sexuality, you can classify the flowers into unisexual flowers, bisexual flowers, provide suitable examples. Based on symmetry, teachers, we can classify the flowers as asymmetric. Asymmetric best example is Canna indica, Kalvadai. I hope all of us have Kalvadai in our premises.
Kalvadai, yes, ma'am.
Kalvadai எடுத்துக்கலாம் class நம்ம Kalvadai கொண்டு போய்க்கலாம். We can show them the asymmetric flower. Zygomorphic flower or the bilaterally symmetrical flower. We can show any flower, number of examples are there. Similarly, actinomorphic flower, number of examples are there. So show them an asymmetric flower, Canna indica, zygomorphic flower and actinomorphic. So let them be used to all these terms instead of learning bilateral symmetry. In animal kingdom, we will tell them bilateral symmetry, but in plant kingdom, we will tell them zygomorphic. In morphology, we are, see, it is only the technical terms which scare the children. But if you associate these technical terms with a real life example, then the children will be able to learn it forever. Means their understanding is permanent. They'll never forget even if they want to forget. So show them the flowers. Then the second parameter, third parameter, and please tell them what is the meaning of symmetry. Number of floral units. There is some mathematical relationship between the floral units. What do I mean by floral units? Number of sepals, number of petals, number of stamens, and number of carpels. So trimerous flowers, monocot. Again, Canna indica. Canna indica can be example for monocot, trimerous flowers, where the floral units here, when you teach about the monocot, tell them there is no sepal and petal there. Both are colored. Both are resembling each other. It's called tepal. It is neither a petal nor a sepal. It is called tepal. T-E-P-A-L. Tepal. So introduce the term tepal. Tetramerous, pentamerous. See, what I have in hand is a pentamerous flower.
Hibiscus, ma'am.
Hibiscus you can show, ma'am. Hibiscus has number of exceptional features also, ma'am. So this is a pentamerous, I think, yeah. What I have in hand is a pentamerous flower where all the petals have united into a tube. So different flowers, if the children get, you can show them all these things. Pentamerous, hexamerous, polymerous, you can show examples. And you can tell them always, if they have the patience to count, they will be in the multiples of 4 or 5 or 6 or many. So let them understand, let them count. So morphology, let us take more number of periods. It's okay, we can take some extra classes to make it up. But unless we take more number of classes, unless we show the specific real life specimens, the lesson will become always, it will remain as a, the children will be always having a nightmare. That lesson will remain as a nightmare. Then next parameter is insertion of floral parts on the thalamus. So let us give the definition of thalamus. The place where all the floral whorls are arranged. And based on the insertion, let us give simple diagrams, teachers. Hypokynous, epikynous, perikynous. Hypo means below. All the floral parts arise from below the ovary. I'll magnify it. Zoom it. If you see, this is the ovary. And other floral parts arise from below the ovary. And epikynous, this is the ovary. Other floral parts arise from above the ovary. See, ovary is below. And perikynous, other floral parts arise from around the ovary, neither below nor above. So give them simple sketches. The textbook sketches are little complicated. They can give them always simple sketches. Like this, we can give simple sketches to make them under 3 diagrams are enough. Hypogyny, perigyny, and epigyny. So what are the various parameters? Sexuality, symmetry, number of floral units, and insertion of floral parts. These are the various parameters used to classify the flowers. Comes estivation, arrangement of the sepals or petals in their respective whorls. And we should know to teach them the diagram. So it's better to draw one circle on the board. We can draw freehand circles. Let the children use a bangle or a compass. Girl children are there, they will use bangle. But children nowadays are not wearing bangles. It's outdated. So let them get a compass. So let them draw one circle. Then let us draw some lines like this with using chalk piece. Then let us erase. So one circle we can divide into 5 segments. For a pentamerous flower. For a pentamerous flower, how to show them the diagram. So first you draw a circle. Then mark the places using a chalk. Let them mark it using a pencil. Then erase. Then let them draw. So this shows valvate. So if you, as Amuda ma'am said, if they bring hibiscus, in hibiscus, children will see valvate estivation in the calyx, twisted estivation in the corolla. Am I right, teachers?
Yes, ma'am.
So one flower, they can understand 2 concepts. Valvate estivation in the calyx, they will see. Twisted estivation in the corolla. They will also see calyx is gamosepalous, corolla is polypetalous.
Polypetalous.
That kind. So with one hibiscus, we can teach them a number of concepts. Like we can teach them monodelphous condition, monothecous anthers. Generally, anthers are by dithecous. Only in hibiscus they are monothecous. So hibiscus is the example for so many concepts. So let them understand what is called polysepalous. Poly means free. Gamo means united. So let them understand with a flower in hand, what is called polysepalous, what is called polypetalous, what is called gamosepalous, what is called gamopetalous. Then let us understand vexillary estivation is best seen in this flower, teachers, which is Sangupushpam, all the legumes, Papilionaceae family. I use this flower for flower dissection also. I use this Sangupushpam for pollen germination also. I don't know how many of you are using this. I think we discussed in the previous sessions of teachers. Parthiban sir, Amuda ma'am, Parthiban sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We have
Yeah,
discussed
From that I am doing with this only, ma'am.
It's
For this
very
we are
episode.
using only.
pollen tube very easily. Did you see the pollen
We
tube,
tried.
ma'am?
Yeah, we
Yes,
tried.
ma'am. I saw it, ma'am. I saw. In
Yeah,
the practical session, I didn't saw, ma'am.
Parthiban sir, you saw, sir?
Yes, ma'am. We tried last year.
So this flower is the best for pollen germination. So you can show them vexillary estivation where there is a huge standard petal, 2 wing petals, 2 keel petals. Keel petals are united, and that flower you can show them diadelphous condition. They're all flowers available in our neighborhood. Hibiscus is a very common plant. Sangupushpam clitoris is a very common plant. We can just bring them to the class and show them diadelphous. They always carry needles and magnifying glass to the class. That is enough. With the specimens, we can show them. Then, and let us tell them in dicots, sepals are generally green, petals are generally colored. In monocots, sepals and petals are not very distinct from each other. They are known as tepals. Okay. Then coming to the male, the third whorl of the flower, androecium, the male reproductive part made of stamens. So let us draw one stamen and show them anther lobe and filament. They'll be learning more about stamen in the next year, that is 12th standard. Then the sterile stamen is called staminode. So let us introduce the terms pistillode and staminode. What is the sterility? What is called a sterile stamen? A stamen which is not able to produce viable pollen grains. A stamen which is not able to produce viable pollen grains is called a sterile stamen, which is called staminode. Then classification of the stamens based on the attachment. if they are attached to the petals. See, the petal attachment is very beautifully seen in brinjal flower. In brinjal flower or any other flower, if you, I think one more flower, I used to show in the class. You can see the Aralipu also, the Nerium also, you can find the stamens attached to the petals, epipetalous condition. Then the same epipetalous condition in monocot is called epiphyllous. Because in monocots, there is no sepal, there is no petal, it is called epiphyllous. Then if all stamens are found in one bundle, it is called monadelphous condition. If all the stamens are found in more than one bundle or sometimes in two bundles, it is called polydelphous or diadelphous. In diadelphous, there are sometimes 5 plus 5 will be there, 9 plus 1 will be there, equal bundling, unequal bundling. So if they get number of different flowers, we can show them all these features. It's very easy to show them. Gynoecium, the female part, made up of carpels. Draw one simple carpel. Let us not draw a complicated carpel. Show them the 3 parts, ovary, style, and stigma. They'll be learning more about this in next year, class 12, the sexual reproduction flowering plant chapter. So classification based on the union of carpels, syncarpus and apocarpus. Syncarpus already we know. For placentation also, this condition is there, syncarpus. You can show them the carpels. Each line represents a carpel. Lemon line fruit cut transversely. Syncarpus. This also is an example of axile placentation. Placentation is axile. Many carpels are there where they are united. So syncarpus, apocarpus carpels are free. Classification based on the number of carpels. Monocarpellary, monocarpellary, we can show them mango.
Pedicel.
Yes, coconut we can show, mango we can show, bicarpellary, tricarpellary, number of examples are there, tetracarpellary, pentacarpellary, for everything, our lady's finger can be cut into transverse section. If you take, you can show them. So all these can be shown. So this way children will
Cucumber also, ma'am, for tricarpellary cucumber.
Cucumber, all the cooker bits, madam, even the bitter
Yes,
gourd,
ma'am. Yes.
bitter gourd can be shown. Placentation. So when you see the word placentation, children will be now confused between East West and placentation. How to bring the children out of the confusion? You take them back to class 10. Class 10, they would have learned about placenta, human placenta, they would have learned placenta is a tissue which connects, the organ which connects mother to the growing fetus. So same way, placenta is a place or a tissue which attaches the ovule on the ovary wall. So make the child understand the role of placenta is always to attach, always to connect. So children will get a link. Okay, in class 10, I learned placenta, connecting the mother and the fetus. In class 11, I'm learning placenta, connecting the ovule and the, again, you show them the same. See the ovules, seeds, they become seeds. Earlier, they were ovules. So fertilized ovule is called a seed. Fertilized ovary, this entire structure is called a fruit. So where the ovule was attached before fertilization is called a placenta. Arrangement of the placenta is called placentation. Show them various placentations. Simple examples. Beans. Beans has marginal placentation. There is a ventral suture, the line. There is a suture here. Show them the ventral suture. Along the ventral suture, they are arranged. So if you open, you can see them attached. Ask them to get peas, ask them to get beans to the class. They will be enthusiastically getting. Children will get more than what we want. So if you show them, look at the arrangement on the ventral suture, how the seeds are. Seeds were once upon a time ovules. This way they will understand beans also is a fruit. This they will understand. They will think fruits are the only, they will have some misconceptions. So teach them, chili is a fruit, lady's finger is a fruit, chow chow is a fruit, potato is not a fruit, carrot is not a fruit. A fruit will contain seeds. A fruit was once upon a time ovary. A seed was once upon a time ovule. The fertilized ovule has become a seed. Seeds are covered. Angiosperms have protected seeds. Gymnosperm seeds were naked. Take them back to plant kingdom chapter. So they will understand how in angiosperms the ovary wall surrounds the seeds. How the seeds are enclosed in fruit. Show them number of fruits. Ovules are modified into seeds later after post-fertilization. So this is marginal placentation, axile placentation. Tomato, tricarpellary transverse section of tomato. Tricarpellary carpus. Look at the three carpels. Look at the fused ovary, fused carpels. These are all simple. That's why we always should take razor or knife. From the laboratory, let us carry knife, needle, magnifying glass. Let the children get so many things. That's why I told you to divide the class into 5 teams. Each team is responsible for one concept. One team will only get fruits. One team will only get flowers. One will get various roots. One will get various leaves. Like this, if you assign like project work, morphology will become very easy. Everything will be on their fingertips. Only by seeing. Tell them to get mango. Show them the mangoes, epicarp, mesocarp, endocarp. Tell them to get coconut. Compare mango and coconut in front of them. Though the author is showing diagram, show them how the mesocarp is fibrous in coconut, how the mesocarp is fleshy in mango. Both are coming from monocarpellary superior ovaries. Both are one-seeded fruits. Tell them coconut, whatever we are eating is not a seed. It is nothing but the endosperm. It is a solid endosperm. Coconut water is a liquid endosperm. So bringing such things, and at the end of the day, let them wash their hands. Let us take a knife. Let us ask our laboratory to cut the mango and give them. Let them enjoy eating mangoes. I've done this in the class. Children used to get mangoes. I always use, when you get mango, also get some salt and chili powder mixed. They will be waiting for the end of the class. So after cutting the mango, after showing them epicarp, mesocarp, endocarp, cut mangoes into number of pieces. Okay, let them enjoy. They will eat and they never forget the morphology class. I've made my children eat mango fruits. They will eat papaya, they will eat. They'll bring, they will understand, they will eat. So this way, we can see the only aim is to make the children develop an interest. Otherwise, botany will be very difficult. And there are so many technical terms. Child is so scared in 11th standard. So much child has to learn. So by seeing, by relating all these things with real life situations only, we can make morphology interesting. So show them whatever is possible. Basal, it's not, see, marginal is possible, axile possible, free central possible. Whichever example is possible to be brought into the classroom, you can show them. Then, semi-technical description, the floral formula. What is a bract? You can show them in bracts are there even in the Sangu Pushpam flower. I think teachers we would have seen in the Clitoris Ternacea there is bract. So when they get flowers, let them see the flowers with bract, flowers without bract. So bracteate flower, ebracteate flower, bracteate BR, ebracteate. When they get flowers, let them get male flowers, female flowers, bisexual flowers. So let us teach them this symbol is for bisexuality. This symbol is for only male. This symbol is for only females. K represents calyx. And next to K, we will write some number. If the number is bracketed, all the sepals are united. Gamosepalous condition, bracket. Polysepalous condition, no bracket. Polypetalous condition, no bracket near corolla. See, gamopetalous. So when you tell them to get a variety of flowers, all these conditions can be shown easily. A for androecium, G for gynoecium. As you suggested, if they get hibiscus flower, in the hibiscus, show them the monothecous condition using a magnifying glass. Monothecous condition. Using a magnifying, without even using a magnifying glass, show them the monodelphous condition. All the stamens in one bundle around the style. Dissect the stigma. Dissect the hibiscus flower and show them the style stigma and show them the 5 branches of the stigma, pentacarpellary, pentamerous flower. Even the stigma is having 5 branches. Just a simple job of dissection. Make them soak channa seeds. Make them soak double bean seeds. Make them soak corn seeds. Bring them soaked seeds. Open the seed coat. Show them the outer seed coat, testa, tegmen. Show them the embryo. Show them the monocot embryo, show them the dicot embryo. And when they see the swollen channa, when they see the swollen bean, tell them the edible part is generally cotyledon in a dicot seed. Edible part is generally endosperm in a monocot seed. What is edible is cotyledon. You know, see the cotyledon swell, they take up more moisture and swell up. Easy to dissect and show them the plumule and the radicle. Give them lot of additional works. Give them a hypothetical floral formula. Let them draw floral diagram. Teach them what is the floral diagram. Draw floral diagrams on the board. One diagram you draw. Solanaceae, because Liliaceae diagram is little difficult because Liliaceae is a monocot family, trimerous condition. So let us draw the floral diagrams on the board. Use color chalks. I always carry a chalk box. I always carry a chalk box with color chalks. So let us have some color code. Always draw sepal with green. Always draw petal with color, some other color. So children will know, okay, corolla is the colored part. Calyx is the green colored part. So use drawing diagrams, classroom diagrams, blackboard diagrams, using color chalks or soft boards if you are using color pencils. Will definitely make the class interesting. There is no doubt about it, teachers. What other problems do we face in teaching morphology? Let us have some discussion now. What do the children tell you when they learn morphology for the test?
Actually, they feel difficult in remembering the examples, ma'am.
Ma'am, give them simple examples, ma'am. Let us give mark to even simple examples. Let us not expect the textbook examples, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
That is why when they see in nature, when they bring the flower, the child will remember, okay, I brought this flower to the class. This flower has camocephalous condition. Why same example? Those examples are little difficult. And tell them simple examples of monocots, coconut tree, palm tree, all the cereals are monocots. All the grasses are monocot. Sugarcane is a monocot. Sugarcane stem is modified to store food. So simple, real life examples, let them write, teachers. In the board exam, we are giving marks.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, 11th standard, thank God it's not a board exam, but NEET children prepare for NEET have to be very careful.
NEET students, they may feel some difficulty whenever they come across this chapter. Lots of concepts based on this estivation, placentation, so many examples they have to learn. For NEET students, they are feeling this one difficult to by heart all these examples, especially.
Yes, NEET children learn a little extra than what is there in our reader. So we may also refer to the books of PG coaching centers. PG coaching centers are using some materials. We can always get them, and we can actually. But at the end of the day, tell the children morphology. You will be very clear only when you remember.
Yes.
Lot of things to see. Class 11 syllabus by and large is having more remembering part. Class 12 by and large has more understanding part. So class 11, they need to definitely remember. Definitely remember. So let us have a technique of making them write all the terms. Writing once is equivalent to reading thrice. Let them get a practice of writing many times so that the remembering will be better. Any other problem do we face, children, teachers? My children always find only when they see specimens, they find it easier. Otherwise, they find botany very difficult. Plant kingdom, they find very difficult. Plant kingdom chapter is another chapter which scares them. Similarly, plant physiology will scare them. All the metabolic pathways will scare they will scare the children. So, anyway, we are going to spread the chapter for a week, maximum 8 to 10 periods. Best way to make the children remember is after teaching a particular concept, next day, give a small slip test about yesterday's concept. Give one objective test, 5 minutes. Or make one child come and draw one diagram on the board of the previous class diagram. Make the child draw fibrous root system or a taproot system, regions of root. 5 minutes, let us recapitulate the previous day's concept. Then we'll go to the next day's concept. That will be a better way to make them remember. First period, 40 minutes period we are talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
General introduction we can do. Up to regions of root we can do first period. It may take even more than 8 periods. Let us not worry about the number of periods. Let us worry about our effective teaching. So we can also take some extra classes. Then second day, second period, root modification, structure of stem. Root modification, structure of stem. Even stem modification we can do. But stem modification we may also extend on the next day. Concepts like offset, runner, offset concept in Pistia, Eichhornia we can carry from our laboratory. But Eichhornia is a very common aquatic weed. Everywhere we can see. Tell the children to see in their neighborhood water bodies how it became a nuisance. It becomes a nuisance to remove it. So all this chrysanthemum, Pistia, Eichhornia is water hyacinth. So third period, you can continue modification and you can do leaf, regular structure of leaf, venation, types of leaves, and phyllotaxy. Third period over, fourth period, modification of leaf. Why? Because though modification is given as one paragraph, we are going to make the children get specimens. So we should explain the specimens to them. Modification of leaves we can do. Introduction of flower, inflorescence. Racemose and cymose to be explained. So leaf modification, flower introduction, classification of flower, and as I told you, various parameters too for classifying the flower, like sexuality, symmetry, number. You can do up to page number 72. Next period, this is a very important 3-mark question also. This we can teach in the next period. Position of floral parts and thalamus. Then you can do, same period we can do calyx and corolla. Concepts like gamopetalous, polypetalous, aestivation can be done. This is period number 5, no teachers?
Yes, ma'am. 5 period over, ma'am.
5 periods over so far. 6th period, andrecium, gynoecium, placentation. Seventh period, we can do fruit, monocot and dicot seeds. Eighth period,
Families.
we know all the families we can't do, ma'am. We can do this introduction or what are the various technical terms like all these things, madam. 1 second. All these we need to introduce them, no? These semi-technical description, all these under example formula, example diagram, mustard family. This will take 1 period. The same period we may do Fabaceae. So introduction to families, the description, and Fabaceae can take 1 period. Actually, teachers, once the children are aware of all these terms, aestivation, placentation, gynoecium, andrecium, then making them understand the families is not a task. They will easily understand. Only thing is the first conceptual teaching has to be very strong. Then the last period we can do 2 families, Solanaceae, Liliaceae. including economic importance. So we can have 10 periods for the chapter.
Yes, ma'am. Then only it will be okay, ma'am. 10 period we need. ma'am.
10 periods you need, because we need to discuss all the textual exercises, non-textual exercises,
Yes, ma'am.
extra questions. You need definitely 10 periods. Whereas there are some chapters where you can compensate this. For example, a cell division can be completed. Cell the unit of life chapter can be, because they have already understood in class 9. Animal kingdom, we go very fast. Because animal kingdom, because the corona, this bad children would not have learned, because that chapter was deleted for class 9. Otherwise, animal kingdom will go very fast, teachers. To take one additional hour, you'll be able to complete it. Whereas more botany chapters, if we rush, then finally we land up reteaching only. And again, just because we have allotted 10 periods, let us not go to the class with the mind that, okay, today I must complete. No, don't fix any target for the class. We'll go planned, but we don't know what kind of questions children will be asking. What kind of specimen children will be getting to the class. What kind of explanations we need to give, because it may differ from class to class. So we'll fix it as 10 periods, try to complete it by 10 periods. But it might be even one or plus or minus 1. Because every day the class is going to be filled with number of fresh or preserved specimens. So morphology class, only with specimens we can make them understand.